Redemption is possible.
Yes.
Redemption is possible.
It's a good thing we talk about why we come to Toastmasters. The only reason I come here is narcissism. I love the applause line. So, one thing I'm going to talk about is Dante's Inferno in the 9 circles of hell. It starts out with limbo, and then it goes lust, where people are being blown back and forth by the wind in an uncontrollable manner. Then there's gluttony, with Cerberus, the 3-headed dog that Virgil has, munching on people in a pit. And then there is greed. They are slowly rolling a heavy ball up a hill, condemned for the rest of eternity for this arduous work. And then it goes to anger. And anger, you're stuck underneath in a swamp where you cannot get out or express any feelings. Then there is heresy, which is death for the dead. You are confined in a tomb that is burning. It is death for the soul and the body. Then there is malice or malice or violence. In malice, there's a river of boiling blood and you cannot escape. This is burning you. You're stuck in there. And then inside malice, there's the suicide, which I think is a little unfair, but it's because life is a gift from God. And if it's a gift from God, it should be not taken by anyone, especially yourself. And then inside that is the blasphemers and sodomites. And I think that sounds like heaven to me. That's where I want to go. And then the 8th circle is fraud, which is for people that do not tell the truth. And it starts out with seducers and panderers, flatterers, synonymy, evil counselors and advisors, thieves, hypocrites, sorcerers and false prophets. Then there's the perjurers and counterfeiters and the falsifiers like the alchemists. And then the last circle of hell is treachery. And in treachery, that is 4 people in particular. There's Cana, which is a frozen lake based on Cain. They are submerged up to their necks and there is a wind blowing across their face, keeping them from being able to express anything. Then there is Ptolemy. Ptolemy welcomed a stranger into his house and killed him. And then after that, there is Antinora. Antinora, they are in the frozen lake, and the wind is blowing against them, freezing their eyes shut with their tears. Antenor gave false information to Priam to help bring down the fall of Troy in the Iliad. And then Judica, which is the most difficult one to be in, those are for people who betray their teachers. And as we all know, Judas betrayed Jesus. And in that, they are frozen inside the lake, twisted into circles, and cannot get out or express anything. And one thing I am telling you this. To me, I take all religions as true. Many years ago, when I was struggling with lots of my problems, I hated God, I hated myself, and I hated the world. And I myself have never had a hard time telling the truth. I'm more of a compulsive disclosure. So I do that at both the Toastmasters and in my personal life. And I got in trouble at work today. And my boss said, "Justin, I don't like the way you talk to people in this office. You are too rude. You need learn how to be a bullshitter. You need to learn how to kiss ass." And I have no ability to do that. I have gotten in all kinds of trouble in my life just by telling people exactly what I think of them, exactly what is on my mind. And there was a time that I did not have any filter whatsoever. If I thought it was true, I had to say it. And my biggest problem, like everyone's problem in the world, is we think that what we perceive is true when we truly have no damn idea. All we have truly is our opinions. But with all this, you might be wondering why I study the 9 circles of hell. I'm in recovery, Alcoholics Anonymous, and one of the steps is we make a searching and fearless moral inventory. You list the people you have resentments of, you put them on paper, you look at your part in it, and then you go make amends. Well, what I did is I put them on paper, memorized the 9 circles of hell, place them in the appropriate circles. So, what can I say? But I was talking to someone today, and what I was telling him, he was struggling. He's like me. He's a social, difficult person, and I really don't relate to people too well. That's one of my 9 disabilities. I can be good in front of a crowd, but one-on-one I isolate just like before the meeting. I talked to a couple people, but I was more wandering around the outskirts. I have a very, very difficult time with people, and that's what my boss doesn't like. My wife says I scare people all the time, and I don't mean to. I'm just being direct. You know, when the waiters come up to the table, you're scaring me. You're scaring them. And I'm like, okay, what did I do? I don't know. I don't see the point in most social interaction. I don't go anywhere with friends. I read books. I listen to music. I explore school philosophy. I write. But I have a very hard time with people. And the next thing that I need to learn is what Dante's Inferno is about, and that's redemption, and that the only thing I'm here to do as a person is to become a better person. And like I said, to me all religions are true. They speak to universal truths within all of us. Be it a Hindu, a Buddhist, a Christian, whatever. There is the concept of original sin, and the only thing that's saying is there's problems we have that other creatures don't have, given our ability to reason. It doesn't mean that we're evil or terrible people. And one of the things Maimonides said, which was a Jewish philosopher, is that the literal interpretation of any spiritual text is for lay people. So just realize when someone wants to quote you something and tell you where you're going or what you did wrong, usually they're taking a literal interpretation when it's meant to be an allegory, just like Dante's Inferno. And one thing I'd say is look for the truth in everything. With me, I'm trying to do everything I can to be a better person, and I screw up constantly. I make more mistakes than, I don't know, probably no more than anyone else, but I make a lot of mistakes, and that's what I'm here to do, is to be a better person. I've had a very difficult life. I can't count how many times I've been institutionalized. I can't count how many times I've been arrested. I couldn't read 6 years ago. Now, I was on disability for 15 years for suicide and lots of other stuff. I've gotten off disability. I make more than most Americans. I'm in the middle class. I got one college degree. I'm going for another. I just finished writing a book. They might turn it into a movie. And you know what? I got a long ways to go. And just remember, redemption is possible. Whatever you want to do, you can. And look for more than just the literal interpretation of your life. Thank you.